Today, we're going to talk about the 7 reasons why you may want to avoid a shorter cruise.
The number one reason why a lot of people like to avoid the shorter cruises is that you tend to get put on an older ship. We've all seen the fantastic commercials for cruise lines where they show these big ships with all of the water slides and the pools and the zip lines and all those amazing things. Most of these older ships, unfortunately, don't have those on them.
Also, on an older ship, sometimes the rooms are not updated and they can feel a little bit tired. So, if you're thinking you're getting this immaculate, beautiful space, it'll be clean, but it won't always be fresh. Sometimes you'll notice that the lobby or the atriums or the dining spaces are not quite as up to snuff as you're hoping or expecting. They may not have all the crystal, they may not have all the beautiful chandeliers because they're getting ready for a refurb.
The second reason that people tend to avoid the shorter cruises is that most of them are done on a smaller ship. And similar to the fact that the ship isn't as new, the fact that it's smaller also means that it might not have as many options for the pools and the activities as you would get on a longer cruise.
We've noticed that we haven't seen any of the extremely large icon class or large class of ships offer these shorter cruises. It tends to be the smaller ships that are in a different class.
Now, another thing with it being on a smaller ship is that you may not have quite as many choices for dining options. So, you will, of course, have your buffet, you will, of course, have your dining room, but a lot of times, instead of 4 or 5 of the specialty restaurants, you may only have 1 or 2, which might make it a bit of a challenge for you to book something because a lot of people want to book into a specialty restaurant.
So these can get really booked up. And a lot of the smaller ships don't offer the specialty celebrity restaurants that you may have heard of that are on ships. And if they do, they will be booked up very quickly. So keep that in mind. Sometimes this is a challenge.
Another thing on these smaller ships is sometimes the entertainment isn't quite as grand as you would get on the larger vessels. You might find that you're not going to get the Broadway style show that you might be expecting simply because they don't have the room in their theater to offer something like that, or they might not have the number of entertainment staff that you might see on a larger ship.
The third reason we recommend you may want to avoid a short cruise is that there are less port days. Some of these cruises have only 1 or 2 port days, and some of them have none.
And really, for the cruise ship, their options are extremely limited as to where they can offer to take you, simply based on the amount of time that you have on the ocean. If one of your favorite islands is a 3 day sail away, they obviously can't take you there on a 3 to 5 day cruise and get you home in time.
Something to keep in mind on a shorter cruise with less port days or potentially no port days is that there are going to be more people on the ship all the time. So if you're looking for a quiet spot to read a book or have a coffee or enjoy a cocktail, this might be a challenge to find on a short cruise. As there are no port days or limited port days, most of the time on a port days, a huge percentage of the ship will get off the ship, and you can decide if that's what you would like to do or if you want to stay on and just enjoy the ship without all the crowds. But on a small, shorter cruise with limited or no port days, you will not have this option.
You've got to think on this type of a sailing, you're going to have lineups at the elevator, you're going to have lineups at the restaurants, you're going to have lineups at the bar. Everywhere you go, there will be lines. And all of the stores and the shopping will also be quite busy because people are looking for fun things to do while they sail.
Another concern about having less port days is if you do not port in a foreign country or you do not port at all, you will not be able to shop for duty free or tax free purchases. So if you're thinking you're going to bring home some tax free alcohol, some duty free options, that won't be available. The fourth reason you may not want to take a short cruise is it's a really limited amount of time on the ship, and you may not have enough time to actually explore it all. By the time you unpack and you have a drink by the pool, your first day could already be gone. And so there's a really limited time to check out all the activities and watch a show or have a sleep in, order room service. Is there really time to do it all?
A common complaint that we've heard on a short cruise is there just really isn't enough time to relax and wind down. When you take a week vacation, it usually takes you 2 or 3 days to kind of get in the spirit of relaxation. Well, by the time you do that on a 3 day cruise, you're pretty much done. The fifth reason that some people avoid the short term cruise is that you can really only do it on a mainstream line.
The upscale lines that some of you may want to try out generally do not offer these short 3 to 5 day cruises.
Yeah, they're typically not available on lines like Regent Seven Seas, Seabourn, Oceania, Asmara, or Crystal Cruises.
So if you were looking to try out one of these more upscale cruises and see if you like it, they won't be offering a short cruise.
The next reason that some people avoid a short cruise is it doesn't give you an understanding of the cruise line. Now, a lot of people take these short cruises so they can get a bit of a feel for the flavor of the cruise to see if it happens to be the right line to fit what they're looking for.
On these short cruises, you may get a variety of types of cruisers and not the traditional cruisers that would typically go on this cruise line. So it's a little harder to evaluate the cruise line for that purpose. So when going on these shorter cruises, we suggest evaluate the ship's size, see if the size works for you, see if the class works for you. Do you like the food? Do you like the entertainment and the amenities rather than the overall feel? Because the overall feel of these short cruises is not a true representation of what this ship may be like.
Now, the biggest reason that a lot of people really want to avoid these short cruises is that they tend to be a booze cruise.
Hmm.
On these cruises, a lot of people have the long weekend mentality. They get on the ship, they let loose, they enjoy the drink package, and they party till the sun goes down or comes up.
Now, we have seen this when we've been on a short cruise where some guests had to be accompanied back to their room and guarded because they were out of control. These tend to attract a livelier, less inhibited crowd. Oftentimes, it will be a bachelorette or a bachelor party, and they are there for fun. This may not be a fit for you if you are looking to relax.
If you're a person who is coming on the ship and you really want it to be a wind down, disconnect from the world, and enjoy just a few days away from work or responsibilities and have just a lovely, relaxing time on the ship, you may not get that on this particular type of ship.
We found on the shorter cruises, even in the adult only areas, 18 plus is adult only. So that can be a lot of people that are enjoying your adult area. So there is that as well on a shorter cruise. There's a lot of people that are coming just for fun. And so you're not going to get the same benefit of perhaps the adult only areas or the quiet areas that you would on a longer cruise.
So there you have it. Those are the 7 reasons that some people say not to take a short cruise. We
Although we have presented 7 reasons why you may want to avoid a short cruise, please keep in mind there is always a time and season for it. We have taken short cruises and sometimes they fit the bill. So don't feel that you should never take a short cruise, but just be prepared for what you may encounter.
Well, thank you very much for watching. We hope this has been something that has been beneficial to you. If you found some good information here, please like and subscribe.